Hi, I'm Karen Darke, and here is the 9th and last article in a series I'm sharing that I hope you'll find useful for navigating life, particularly during challenging times. The articles have been exploring some of the topics and emotions that can help us transcend difficult stuff and connect us with some of the inner gold we all have inside. This article is all about possibility. I was born in the West Yorkshire town of Halifax, England. It's famous for old mills, its building society, and more recently a few TV dramas like Happy Valley. Yes, I grew up there. My first ever bank account was with the Halifax, and the account required me to give it a title. I called it Dreams. Thinking beyond the realms of what seems logical or probable has been a lifelong habit. It's reflected in the types of quotes I'm drawn to. What you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it, by Goethe. A more recent, anonymous one I particularly like is, excellence is a result of caring more than others think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible. In 2014, I was introduced to someone with a similar dream big approach to life. Jose Manuel Lopez has just completed a race called I'm Possible. It involved doing an Ironman triathlon every day for 30 days. For those unfamiliar with Ironman, that's a 2.4 mile swim, 112 miles of cycling, and then a mere 26.2 mile marathon. Of course, even more extreme versions of that exist now too, like double, triple, and ultra Ironman editions. But staying on track with the story, Jose Manuel seemed to me like he must be superhuman. I had considered doing one Ironman, and it seemed like an outrageous prospect to demand that much of my shoulders. How could anyone's body sustain such a feat of endurance daily for a month? Jose Manuel claimed it was a combination of his mind and his faith. I found it fascinating that he didn't even look like a ripped, obsessive athlete, and he seemed very rounded. He works as a psychiatric nurse, perhaps a certain irony there, and has a busy family life. He decided to continue and see how many Ironman distances he could do in 1 year, raising money for charity and aiming for a Guinness World Record of 100 in a year. To fit this into his busy life, he would finish a night shift, do an Ironman during the day, catch maybe an hour or two of sleep, and then go back to do another shift. I was so impressed at his seemingly superhuman ability that I shook his hand and agreed that I would do the last Ironman of his year with him, thinking if he can do 100, surely I can do one. In the end, he broke the Guinness World Record and managed to complete 90 Ironman distances in a year. Joining him on his ultimate effort was a privilege, but more than anything, a reminder that when we overcome the limitations of our mind, then we make surprising things possible. You can see the film of I'm Possible on Vimeo. What seems impossible to one person isn't even a grain of sand in the shoe to another. Our versions of what's possible are largely dictated by what we've become trained to believe, based on our childhood, our life experiences, our social and cultural environments, and so on. From sport to business, the pattern is the same. Climbing the local hill to the supermarket is a version of Everest to some. Losing a few million in a bad business decision, then gaining it all and more back again, might be some people's version of a regular day in the office, but way beyond conceivable imagination to others. During COVID-19 lockdown, I've been reflecting on these views of possible and impossible and I'm possible. It brought me back to the last of my Quest 79 journeys and consideration of how I've been approaching it. The continent is Antarctica. For over a decade, I have dreamed of this, but it has always seemed somehow impossible on many levels, physically, financially, environmentally, and so on. However, finally, during lockdown, something has unlocked in me. It seems that a surprising plan is unfolding that I believe will lead to this journey. I didn't realise when I began the Quest 79 project after winning gold, the 79th medal for Britain in the Rio Paralympic Games, that 79 is the atomic number of gold. I later learned that 79 degrees latitude and longitude lies in unknown virgin Antarctica. On realising this strange synchronicity, it seemed even more obvious that these coordinates of 7979 should become the point to aim for in Antarctica. Instead of following the trodden path to the South Pole, the plan is to create the Pole of Possibility at 7979. The challenging, uncertain and complex environment of Antarctica is a representation of the world we live in. The creation of the new pole will be marked with an emblem that will inspire hope about what can be achieved when we unite with heart towards a purpose. I see it as representing inner gold, the possibility within us all to make a difference. I'm feeling an equal mix of excitement and intimidation, as is normal for most of us with any challenge that lies before us. Being paralysed means lots of hidden challenges like body temperature control, skin care, toilet challenges, and of course not being able to walk, that make an adventure like this a huge project. However, we always have a choice to contract back into our familiar, known world, or to step forward and expand into an unknown, unfamiliar place where vast new possibilities exist. In that zone of unknown possibilities, we always learn and discover something new and find the opportunity to change our world. Instead of allowing my left brain logical mind to sense a possibility and introduce all the reasons why things may not be possible, I prefer to play with the belief, wouldn't it be amazing to find a way to make that possible? I know I'm not unique in thinking like this, and I've come across some interesting approaches to health and well-being that ask the question, what else might be possible? Just this week, I discovered something called the possibility principle, an idea originating from a man called Lester Levinson, who, after being given a few months to live, began to systematically release every negative emotion he was experiencing, and of course lived for many years beyond. I too have learned a system of healing that involves strengthening ourselves to the negative emotion we experience and flicking switches to imbue the opposite. I've experienced the benefits. It seems at times too simple to accept that we can transform negative emotions that easily, especially when we've perhaps struggled with difficult things for years. Through my journey exploring this, possibility has become a way of living for me. That one simple question, how can I or we make that possible, holds enormous power. This philosophy has led me to the desire to encourage others to step into the realm of possibility. I always find a good starting place is to begin by doing something bold and brave, something that is slightly at the edge of our current zone of possibility. In finding ways to make that possible, life changes, and all sorts of other things in all areas of life suddenly become more possible than before. The Quest 79 project has been all about this, and there are some fantastic stories on the YouTube channel. I'm also proud to say that Sir Ranulph Fiennes is the patron for the Pole of Possibility, officially recognised by the Guinness Book of Records as the world's greatest living explorer and living a life exploring the boundaries of possibility. From his Transglobe expedition in 1979, I love it that number 79 appears in there again, to being afraid of heights but climbing Everest, his stories have always inspired me, and I hope they will you. If you too would like to step out of your comfort zone and expand your world of possibility, even more than perhaps COVID-19 has taken you, then please get in touch and share your idea. Read more about the Pole of Possibility project at my website, and it will be fantastic to hear about what you discover, have you involved, and to include you on the Pole of Possibility flag. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you need a spark to get your ideas going, then you might like to check out these home adventurers who've inspired me during the Quest 79 project. 10-year-old Rowan from the Isle of Skye climbed 79 peaks in 79 weeks, and his family didn't even like mountain climbing particularly. Be inspired by his story. The Murray Scouts adventure by mountain bike and canoe across Scotland on the Great Glen Way. From Fort William to Inverness is 79 miles. Or maybe you could hike or cycle 79 miles or join a local sportif. You can read about my dad, Mike Darke, cycling 79 miles for 79 years. Or learn about Inverness-based Christine Graham, who never liked sport, did her first sportif and then cycled across the Himalayas. There are some amazing stories, and I really hope they'll inspire you. Thanks for listening to this article. Each article has had a theme that I hope will be useful for you, a kind of gift that I've learned from each of the Quest 79 journeys. I hope you've enjoyed the series and the virtual travel experience, exploring both outside and inside. Thanks for following, and please get in touch if you're interested to join the Pole of Possibility project.